Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of What's on My Desk. So today I'm talking watches that are relatively affordable. I've been known to bring out the heavy hitters and some impressive timepieces on this program, and everyone is saying the same things. Like, Roman, these tourbillons are great, these Richard Milles are great, but I can't really afford them. How about coming down to earth a little bit and doing something that's relatively affordable? So I brought out some pieces that trade under $10,000, making them somewhat affordable or relatively affordable to some. I brought the Ulysse Nardin Executive Dual Time. I brought the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverse Squadra on a bracelet, and I brought the Romain Jerome Steampunk Skull. I'm going to start things off with the Executive Dual Time. This is the stainless steel version. This watch also comes in a rose gold version. Silver dial, ceramic quote-unquote not scratchable bezel. Comes with a rubber bezel and a butterfly buckle. The buckle is actually PVD'd. Sort of to match the black rubber strap as well as the black ceramic bezel. I think aesthetically it's very pleasing. One of my favorite things about this watch and why I decided to talk about is the fact of how easy the dual time functionality is on this particular watch. If you notice at 9 o'clock you have 11 in the window. That's always going to be your home time. So at a glance you can always tell what time it is at home. At this point it's showing 11:45. And the ease with which you get to change the second time zone, which you have these plus minus buttons on the side. So obviously the plus you go up an hour, and the minus you go back an hour. So it's sort of like a quick set functionality. You don't have to go back, and you're gonna have to go around in order to change your time, as you normally would with some of the dual time watches. You simply depress the plus or the minus button. This functionality is seen on a lot of their other watches, like the GMT Perpetual plus minus. They actually call it the plus minus, as well as the Ludovica Perpetual. Some of the older dual times, that plus minus is just super convenient. This is an automatic timepiece, and this watch only retails for $9,400. It trades at about 30, sometimes 40% off list, depending if you can find them on specials. So for me, this is a really nice, affordable dual time if you're out there shopping for a dual time from a great brand name such as Ulysse Nardin. Again, I've talked about this brand before. These are the guys that make the Genghis Khan watches, the Alexander the Great watches, some of the Royal Blue Tourbillons, which I feature in some of the other shows here. But what I love about this watch is the fact that it's fairly light. It's extremely convenient and versatile on the rubber strap. You can go swimming with this watch. It is waterproof. And honestly, it's a good looking watch. The combination of steel and black and that silver dial, I think, is fairly striking. And for somebody who's out there looking to spend under $10,000 for a watch that has the dual time functionality, I think this is the timepiece to go with. Next, let's talk about the Reverse Squadra. Now, I've talked about the history of Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverse. There's a lot of history behind, going back 100 years. If you guys want to check that episode, I'll put that little info ink right up here or here, wherever it goes. You guys can check that out. It's definitely some good information there. Why did I pick this particular watch? Well, let me show you the watch first. It's a stainless steel case with what seems to be a rubber bracelet. It's actually not rubber, it's rubberized. So the bracelet underneath is indeed stainless steel and it has a rubber coating around it, giving it a nice protection and comfort of wear. It's a lot more comfortable to wear this rubberized bracelet versus a regular stainless steel bracelet. It just feels much better on the wrist. This is a chronograph, and the difference between a regular Reverse and Reverse Squadra is just the size. They made them much bigger, sort of to try to keep up with the current market. You got your chronograph pushers in the back, and of course your reverser functionality, and that is the watch pops out, flips over, and in the back it shows off the beautiful automatic movement. I don't think I've ever seen anybody wear the watches with the reverse side up, sort of showing off the movement. I have in the past as well, and the reason for that is when you wear this watch this way, people say, oh, what is that? What's going on here? And then you can get into talking about what the reverse is and so on and so forth. It's sort of topic for conversation. I personally love the reverser because the history that's behind it. Again, check out that episode. You'll see what I'm talking about. But again, let's talk about prices. This watch retails for $11,900, and you can easily pick this up on the market brand new at around 30% off. On a secondary market, you probably can pick this watch up for around the half price mark, which makes it, again, relatively affordable for a beautiful sports chronograph, something that's actually different, not like every other guy out there. And I don't know if you noticed, I brought different watches out there. I didn't bring the traditional Submariners or the Omega chronographs. I wanted to show you guys something a little bit different. They say save the best for last. I saved the weird for last. And the weird here is this Romain Jerome. Look at this watch. Now, before showing you this watch, let's talk about Romain Jerome. Romain Jerome came onto the market in the mid-2000s with their DNA, quote-unquote, watches. The DNA was that of the Titanic. So what they've done is they took the rust from the actual Titanic. They extracted the DNA and they sprinkle it all over their watches. It can be seen in some of their original models. And they called it the Titanic DNA. So the idea behind it is that you were wearing the piece of the Titanic. At the time, it was a beautiful idea. They came into the market right at the right time. The market was hot, where pretty much any brand out there that would get out there would be able to sell watches. Of course, post-crisis, that kind of all disappeared for a lot of brands, not just Romain Jerome. And Romain Jerome's sort of been kind of stuck in that quote-unquote closeout mode, where they put out these expensive watches with high retails, but they end up selling at less than half price. Case in point with this guy. We just ran a sale on these for 65 off retail, so 35 cents on a dollar. That's pretty cheap, but the retail price is up there. This watch retails for $20,000, I think $19,500, but at 50 to 65 off, you do get a smoking deal on this beautiful watch. And what's beautiful about it? The fact that it's fully skeletonized. Look at that. I mean, you can see literally right through the watch. You can see the entire movement displayed in the back. And it has a skull, and this thing comes in different variations where the skulls are just basically a different color. I think they have white, red, orange, yellow, pretty much every color of the rainbow. Deploying buckle, nice 43 millimeter size. I like this watch. I like this watch aesthetically. I love the way it looks. There's really not much complicated about this watch, with the exception that it's a skeletonized movement. Just not that great of a complication, especially on a plain Jane watch. It only shows the time. But nevertheless, you put this on your wrist and people will say, wow, that's a cool looking watch. And that's just the bottom line with this watch. This is a cool looking timepiece. It is a quality timepiece. Romain Jerome does make quality timepieces. They do have their fair share of highly complicated pieces, such as tourbillons, along with other complications. There were other DNAs done, like the moon dust DNA, if you guys remember that one. And that was literally made from moon dust. So you technically were wearing a piece of moon on your wrist. But nevertheless, this particular skeleton piece, I think my favorite one is probably the one with the white skeleton. Although I do like the blue, it is somewhat striking. Bottom line is, for what's $20,000, so for around $6,000, $7,000, this is a hell of a deal on a watch from a Swiss manufacturer, and definitely something weird and definitely something different. So here are a few options for you. If you want to spend under $10,000, and I get this in the comments all the time, here are 3 options for something that's other than Omega, something other than Rolex and Panerai, that definitely has an oomph to every single one of these watches. There's definitely a gimmick to every single one of these watches. And I'm a sucker for gimmicks. When the Romain Jerome came out with the Titanic DNA, I was like, wow, I want that watch. You know, when they did the Pokemon watch, I was like, wow, that's such a cool watch. Would I wear a Pokemon watch? Probably not. My son probably would want to. The LeCoultre Squadra, nice size, a beautiful sports model with a lot of history behind it, as well as the executive dual time. This is probably the most convenient dual time out there. The plus minus functionality on these dual times from Nardin are probably, in my opinion, the best GMT functionalities in terms of how the time is changed out there for any brand. Guys, I want to thank you once again for joining me on this episode. Last but not least, as always, I'm going to show you what's on my wrist, and I think I've worn this watch before. I've been wearing this watch a lot lately, and that's my Royal Oak Chrono 39 millimeter with diamonds. Again, this is all factory diamonds. I put it on the rubber strap for convenience of use in swimming. And now this watch trades slightly over $10,000, as you can imagine. But in either case, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to share these videos with those that you think may like or love watches. This is how I spread the word, and this is how my channel grows, because of viewers like you. I'll see you guys next time for more watch reviews and other videos.